Okay, so today we're going to be working on adding integers. So when we're adding integers, we want to remember two rules. So if they're the same signs, you're going to add the two numbers and then you'll keep the sign of whatever they were. And if they're different signs, you're going to subtract the two numbers and then you're going to use the sign of the bigger number. So if the bigger number was negative, the answer will be negative. If the bigger number is positive, the answer will be positive. So if we're looking at this first example, it says -2 plus 10 equals, or sorry, -2 plus 10. So I can see that those are different signs. So since I know that they're different signs, I know that I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to have 10 minus 2 is going to equal, let's change colors, is going to equal 8. And then I use the sign of the bigger number. I know 10 is bigger than 2 and the 10 is positive, so the 8 is going to stay positive. If I'm looking at this next one, I have -7 plus -13, and I can see that those are both negative, so I know that they're the same signs. So since they're the same signs, I know I'm going to add. So I know 7 plus 13 is 20, and when they're the same signs, I add and keep. So that means I'm going to keep the sign. So since they're both negative, it's going to be a -20. So again, since they're the same signs, I added, and then since they're both negative, you keep the sign, and so the sign is going to be negative. On this next one, go ahead and try it by yourself, and then so pause it, try it by yourself, and then when you're done, unpause it, and then follow along. So I have 8 plus -4. Okay, so are they the same signs or are they different? And these ones are going to be different. So when they're different, I subtract. So 8 minus 4 is going to be 4. And then I use the sign of the bigger number, and our bigger number is 8, and the 8 is positive. So that means our 4 is going to stay positive. Okay, the next one where they get a little bit more tricky, these are like the ones we saw in that pretest. So I have 9 plus -3 plus -8. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to concentrate on those first two numbers. So I have 9 plus -3. I can see that those are different signs. So since they're different signs, I subtract. So I know 9 minus 3 is going to be 6. And then since they're different signs, I subtract, and I keep the sign of the bigger number. So my bigger number is 9. So that means the 6 is going to stay positive. Now I still have this part out here that I have to bring down. So I'm going to have 6 plus a -8 now. So 6 plus a -8 is going to be, they're different signs. So I know I need to subtract. So 8 minus 6 is going to be 2. And I keep the sign of the bigger number, and my bigger number is 8. So it's going to be a -2. All right. So my next one, again, I have three numbers. I have -12 plus 14 plus -3. So I'm just going to start by just looking at the first two. So I have -12 plus 14. I can see those are different signs, so I'm going to subtract. So 14 minus 12 is going to be 2. And then I keep the sign of the bigger number. My bigger number here is 14. So it's going to stay positive. However, I'm not done because I still have this part over here. So then I'm going to bring that down. So I have plus -3. And those are 2 plus -3. They're different signs. So that means I'm going to subtract. So 3 minus 2 is 1. And then I know it's going to be negative because my bigger number is negative. My bigger number is 3, which is negative. So there's my answer of -1. All right, go ahead and try this one by yourself. And then once you're done trying it by yourself, go ahead and unpause the video, and then we'll do it together. So we start with the first two terms. So I have -10 plus -2. I can see those are the same sign, so I'm going to add. So 10 plus 2 is 12. And then I had to keep the sign, so since they're both negative, it's going to be a -12. Plus, I have to add on this part right here, so I have plus 8. So I have -12 plus 8 now, and I can see those are different signs, so I'm going to subtract. So 12 minus 8 is going to give us 4, and then we have to keep the sign of the bigger number, and our bigger number is 12, so it's going to be a -4. Thank y'all for watching.